Straight ahead on 12 News, a pet lodging facility that leads to disagreement in Brooklyn Park should the owner be allowed to build. Then, how getting ready for school could also require a shot in the arm. But first,
back on the job right now!
The Crystal community demands answers as to why 2 police officers have spent months on paid leave. 12 News starts right now. Crystal's police chief is responding to allegations of corruption and retaliation by 2 Crystal police officers who sat on paid leave for months.
Chief Stephanie Revering tells 12 News the allegations are not factual. But questions remain why the 2 veteran officers are still on paid leave and whether they'll return to their jobs.
What is going on? This is almost a year. This is not right.
They packed the Crystal Council chambers looking for answers.
There's no reason they shouldn't be working right now. They should be on the streets protecting us.
Back on the job right now! Back on the job right now!
A community rallying behind 2 veteran Crystal police officers, Alan Watt and Rob Erkenbrack, on paid leave collectively for a year.
You're not going to shut this crowd down.
The officers accused the chief of retaliating against them for speaking out against alleged corruption among police management.
It's so wrong.
And for how the department handled a raid by the Metro Gang Strike Force.
We feel strongly that if there is documentation, if there is proof, then these things need to be investigated.
Citing data privacy laws, Chief Stephanie Revering said she can't discuss why the officers are on paid leave, but she did tell 12 News, quote, the allegations are not factual. She says there is no relationship between the Metro Gang Strike Force and the personnel matters between officers Erkenbrack and Watt.
Get her out! Get her out!
While those in support of the officers rallied for the police chief's resignation, the wife of one of the officers said she was glad to have public support.
It's been happening for a lot of years, and a lot of the complaints have gone on deaf ears, really.
Meantime, the city council and the police chief met in a closed session late Monday and issued this statement on Tuesday. It says the city council has full confidence in city and police management and in Chief Revering. The city also says each of the corruption allegations against the police chief is from years ago, and the matters were investigated and resulted in no disciplinary action. For more information on the allegations and the Crystal City response, go to our website, 12.tv.
A motorcyclist is dead after he plowed through several mailboxes in Maple Grove. You can see the damage here in the 9200 block of Upland Lane. The crash occurred about 3:30 in the morning. Police say the man killed was in his 20s. Female passenger in her teens was also injured. As we went to air on Tuesday afternoon, her condition was not yet known and their identities had not been released.
A controversial proposal to build a pet facility in Booklyn Park gets the thumbs down from the city council.
Stone Mountain Pet Lodge wanted to build a pet care center at the corner of Zane Avenue and 101st Streets. 12 News reporter Sonia Goins talked with people today on both sides of that issue.
So we were very disappointed that the application wasn't accepted and approved.
David Larson owns Stone Mountain Pet Lodge in Blaine. He had hoped to build a similar facility in Brooklyn Park. The new center would have offered lodging for up to 300 dogs. It also included grooming services and a retail store. But those plans were dashed after the city council voted it down.
This pretty much kills the project as far as Stone Mountain Pet Lodge and Brooklyn Park is concerned.
Bill Schreiber lives across the street from the proposed pet center. He says not in his front yard. For him, one of his concerns is the noise.
The noise issue, I think they needed to do a better job of making the entire neighborhood feel comfortable, that you could have a pet hotel as close as it is here to the businesses.
At first, the plan called for an 8-foot wall to surround the property to drown out the noise, but the Pet Lodge was told to come up with a better plan.
We eliminated the fence and replaced it with this enclosed design that basically has building, 18-foot tall building that surrounds the entire facility and is intended to contain the sound.
The permit would only allow for a pet facility at that location, and some worried what would happen if the Pet Lodge went out of business.
This would be a single-purpose facility. It couldn't transfer over to be a restaurant or an office building or something. It's designed for pets.
The proposal also included plans to bring in new businesses like restaurants and retail shops.
I don't know that you'd You find many businesses that want to locate right next door to the pet hotel.
Brooklyn Park Councilman John Jordan was disappointed the plane got shot down. He said, "We've been asking for businesses, jobs, and unique things that other cities don't have." Jordan says Stone Mountain offered all of those things. The Stone Mountain Pet Lodge says they have no other choice but to put up a for sale sign on the property.
We don't really have any other recourse or any other direction to go with this thing.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And there was no shortage of opinions on this issue. Monday night's city council meeting went on for more than 2.5 hours. In the end, the city council voted it down 4-3.
Crystal is the next city in the Northwest Metro to allow chickens. The Crystal City Council approved an ordinance that allows up to 4 chickens on residential properties. It would require chickens to be kept in coops and be at least 10 feet from a neighbor's property line. There was one big bone of contention, however. Crystal will not require a permit to keep chickens. That's something that neighboring cities like Golden Valley and Robbinsdale have required.
We sit up here and talk about how we want to protect the tax dollars of the citizens. And I guess I always look at it, if you want to play, you pay. And if you want chickens, then you pay for the initial inspection.
I kind of disagree with the amendments. You know, what I liked about this, the way this was written, was that it was done in such a way where we didn't create a bureaucracy, we didn't create additional responsibilities for our city employees to have.
The ordinance was approved by a 5-2 vote. Council members Mark Hoffman and Joe Selton voted no because of the permit issue.
Governor Dayton says it should be a goal to have young students reading by the time they're in the 3rd grade. Dayton was in Brooklyn Park speaking to school superintendents from all around the state. He also told them it's important to expand scholarships for early childhood education. But he sounded frustrated about what he called dysfunction in school. That is, problems that kids bring from home that make teaching impossible.
We need 95+% of the next generations to be successful. It's not going to be enough to have 80-85% and 10% out of work, 5% in prison. It's just, you know, the numbers aren't going to make it. We've got to have everybody, or almost everybody, succeeding.
Meantime, the governor says he hopes a special session of the state legislature can be called after Labor Day to provide disaster relief for areas hit hard by this summer's storms. But he wants to be sure that that session is limited to that topic. By the way, Plymouth and Golden Valley are among those preparing applications for federal aid for the June storms that took down hundreds of trees.
Fans of a Robbinsdale restaurant and bar were disappointed to see the doors close unexpectedly last week. The Lodge replaced a previous restaurant on West Broadway about 3 years ago, but now the signs say it's out of business. Robbinsdale Mayor Regan Murphy tells us the owner had to make a financial decision. The restaurant featured live bands and other events, including a recent fundraiser for tornado victims in Oklahoma just last month. Fans voiced their surprise on the Lodge's Facebook page. We were not able to contact the owner.
Well, those of you who traveled I-694, brace yourself for a big change. Construction on eastbound 694 will move from the inside to the outside lanes. The switch begins Wednesday night. Because of the switch, the on-ramps from East River Road and Highway 252 will close for about 2 months. The closures are necessary as crews work on concrete pavement repair. The entire project between Brooklyn Center and Arden Hills is expected to last until early November. Well, coming up, backpacks, calculators, and a visit to the doctor.
Next in Help Check, what parents and students need to know about required vaccinations. And later in sports, we'll meet a Maple Grove High School student who's getting his feet wet in triathlons.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast.
Neighbors all across the nation will get together tonight to hold National Night Out celebrations. In some communities like Plymouth, it's called Night to Unite. The city held a kickoff event at the Plymouth Creek Center. There were activities and opportunities to meet police officers. There were also tours of squad cars, ambulances, and other rescue vehicles like the North Memorial Air Care helicopter, which drew a crowd as it landed.
We want to get people to get out, socialize with their neighbors, become a part of the community, get to know each other, and we feel that this event is a nice way to kick things off before they go into their own neighborhoods and do their own block parties and stuff like that.
Organizers say this evening's events are a good way to fight crime and bring neighborhoods together. Hundreds of block parties will take place throughout the Northwest Metro this evening. In just a few short weeks, children will start heading back to school.
And state health officials are reminding parents to make sure their children are vaccinated against a variety of serious diseases. In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Yeah, Mike and Alex, the Minnesota Department of Health says that now is the time for parents to check with their health care providers to make sure their children are up to date on the vaccines they need to start school.
August is a particularly busy time trying to get kids in, so obviously we don't want them to miss school. So the big push is to get them up to date so that they can get into the classroom right away and not have to miss any time.
The Osseo School District Enrollment Center offers an on-site clinic where families who either have no insurance or who are on the state health plan can get free immunization shots for their kids. Some of the required shots include tetanus, polio, hepatitis B, measles, mumps, and rubella, chickenpox, and whooping cough. This student from Northview Junior High in Brooklyn Park received 2 of the recommended vaccinations today for hepatitis A and HPV, which helps prevent cervical cancer. Staff members here hope others do the same in the coming weeks.
We're not giving shots because we just feel like it, and we get a chance to really explain the medical benefits of getting them. And it's really nice too, because you'll have people who are new to the country, and this is a new process. It's a new experience for them, and so we're really proud of how we're able to educate folks as well.
For copies of your child's vaccination records, state health officials say you should talk to your doctor or call the Minnesota Immunization Information Connection. To find out how to reach them, you can go to our website at 12.tv. Mike and Alex?
Something else to get ready for school. All right, thank you very much. Coming up, they've got Betty Crocker and the Pillsbury Doughboys. See which colorful character General Mills is rolling out next.
But first in sports, one local prep football team is already at practice for a new season. John Jacobson shows us why when we come back.
John Jacobson with sports now. I find this hard to believe. Football season is back already, but they really don't have a lot of time to, prepare and get ready before school starts in the season.
Yeah, which is why Hopkins is starting a week earlier, because they've got a game a week earlier than most other schools, and so they get a little bit of a head start. Most high school football teams won't start practicing until next week, but for a handful of teams playing in the so-called 0 week, practice is underway. That includes the Hopkins Royals, who started practice on Monday and are getting ready for a 0 week game for the 2nd straight season. Hopkins plays in the 5-team Lake Conference, and it's a challenge to fill the schedule, which makes 0 week a sort of necessary evil.
We'd rather not play 0 week. It interferes sometimes with some family trips and vacations and some family time, but that's the way our situation is. In order to get in eight regular season games, we have to schedule one during 0 week. And the kids are all ready to go, and they've been excited, and we've had some good leadership, so far so good.
We feel as if we work as hard as every team. If not, we work harder. That's why we come out here a week earlier. We work hard as a team. We condition 2 times a practice, like no other team does that. Last year we did 2 days for like a week and a half. We're trying to be the best we can be with all the time that we have.
Hopkins travels to Chaska for its 0 week game on August 23rd. Fellow Lake Conference members Minnetonka and Edina will also play in 0 week games that night. All of the other local schools open a week later. On Thursday the 29th, Wayzata travels to Rosemont. Champlin Park is at Andover, and Osseo plays at Centennial. Also that night, Maple Grove hosts Maple Grove and Armstrong, and then it's Park Center at home that night to take on Anoka. Baltotino Grace is hosting Coon Rapids. And then on Friday, August 30th, Cooper hosts Marshall. Benilde St. Margaret's plays at Albany. Brooklyn Center is at home to play Blake, and Breck will host Concordia Academy. Providence Academy is on the road to play St. Agnes. A wide age range of athletes can compete in triathlons, and this week's Give It a Try, Jay Wilcox features a high school athlete who's learning the ropes.
This week on Give It a Try, we meet a Maple Grove teenager with a strong swimming background who decided to jump into triathlon starting last summer.
Time in the water in a triathlon doesn't intimidate 17-year-old Maple Grove High School swimmer Aaron Dabson.
It's definitely the easiest part for me. Swimming just comes naturally for me because I do it so much, but I think that's definitely the hardest part for most people.
Dabson and his older brother Andy started competing together in triathlons last summer and really enjoy it. Aaron's not alone among Maple Grove swimmers in giving triathlons a go.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, over the past year, or a couple years, I guess, there's been quite a few more guys that have, you know, jumped into the triathlons, including myself, with, you know, the triathlons and the Tough Mudders, and you know, it's good to see the team come together in those events too.
Here's how he rates himself on a 1 to 5 scale.
For swimming, probably, I'll just give it a 5 because that's what I've done for, you know, the past how many years of my life, and that's what I feel I'm best at. Biking, probably maybe a 3. You know, I don't get out and ride as much as I would like to, but I feel that it's, you know, not too bad. And running, not the strongest. probably 2 or 3. You know, that's the hardest part for me.
Triathlons are still pretty new to Aaron, and he plans to keep at it for a while.
Yeah. You know, I think as I progress in my training and, you know, as I get older, I think I'd like to do a lot more. You know, maybe move up to more challenging races as well.
For Give It a Try, Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Aaron will compete in the Bluff Creek Triathlon in Iowa this coming Sunday and in the St. Croix Valley Tri in Stillwater at the end of the month. Looks like fun, doesn't it?
Let me answer that later.
Looks pretty, yeah.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, how breakfast just got a little more interesting.
See what General Mills is doing to boost breakfast and the bottom line. Coming up next. Well, finally, Betty Crocker, the Pillsbury Doughboy, and Lucky the Leprechaun are getting a new roommate.
Golden Valley-based General Mills has a new mascot debuting this week. Meet Hans Strudel. He's the new face of Pillsbury Toaster Strudel products. Hans is described as a fun and quirky young boy from a magical place of Breckford, a place where people are happy and breakfast is served all day long. He even has a catchphrase. He says, "Get some going."
Get some going. All right.
No word yet on whether he'll reach the fame of Jolly Green Giant, but I don't know, those mascots, they kind of stick with you. You were talking about your favorite
The
cereal.
Trix Rabbit.
The Trix Rabbit.
I love that guy.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger's good.
Count Chocula.
Now we got Hans Strudel in the
Hans
mix.
Strudel.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.